Hey guys, sometimes when you come to a natural disaster zone, words can't even describe what you see, and I think a lot of residents are feeling that right now. Obviously, over the last couple of days, there have been search and rescue efforts. Now a lot of that has been transitioning just to the rescue efforts. We're now day 5, day 6, give or take, out from this, and so it becomes a lot harder to find these folks alive. They're doing everything they can, boat, helicopter. We've seen it all here across the hill country of Texas, currently in Kerrville, but really anywhere along the Guadalupe River here. I'd say about a 20, 30 plus mile stretch has seen something so similar to this. Now, some of the hardest hit areas have been very difficult to get into. We've seen local law enforcement blocking those roads off so residents and communities can start to put back the pieces. Now, most people want to do good and want to help. We've seen that come out and show out, showing the true nature of the Texan spirit here. But there obviously are a few non-do-gooders, and that's who they're really trying to focus on in this general area. But really, it's the scope of the flooding, the damage immeasurable when you talk about cars floating 20 feet into the tree branches still, cabins from local youth camps, a big staple of this region as well, getting swept away. And unfortunately, Camp Mystic losing multiple young girls and camp counselors to the floodwaters there. At this point, though, the flood came so fast and so early, and that was the biggest piece as to why this was so deadly. Multiple rain gauges in the area reported 20 inches of rainfall, but this area is so quick to drain all of that into the Guadalupe River, which is why it only took about 45 minutes to an hour for some of these spots to rise over 20 to as much as 30 feet in terms of that storm surge. We've had crews that have been following search and rescue efforts, and while they were out, they ran into one man. Take a listen to what he endured on that horrific morning.
We lost everything that we owned, me and my wife, and it was just the little children that was floating away. It's what got me. I didn't care about my home or my possessions. I really didn't care about me. It was just those children that were always watching in RVs running. Lights were still on because it was powered by the batteries, but it already pulled the cord out, and had other friends down there that I knew on the island. They got washed away.
And it's not an isolated instance either. You walk around the streets and almost everybody has a story just like that right along the river. Again, hard to put words to this, and a lot of residents now are calling for siren systems to be put into place. One of the local judges in the area said that they did not have a local siren warning system. So the question is now, what do they do next in order to prevent something like this from happening? Because being a local to this general area, I'm from Austin, Texas, but I would come down to the Guadalupe River in my childhood. It's a safe haven for so many, and they want to bring that feeling of safety back to the hundreds of thousands of people that fill the Guadalupe River, especially on the July 4th weekend. And I think a lot of the tourists coming in as well led to the catastrophic nature of this and how many people are now reported missing. Governor Greg Abbott did an aerial tour earlier yesterday, and he has reported that there could be up to 161 people still missing, and that's already on top of the 109 people confirmed dead, most of which out of Kerr County, but multiple counties spread out across the hill country of Texas. Thankfully, the response has been fantastic here in terms of local government agencies. Over 20 states have sent different agencies out here to help in the recovery efforts. You can't go but a mile without seeing somebody helping to rebuild what once was here. Guys, back to you.
And that man's reaction, the man we just heard from in the orange shirt, that reaction says it all. Haley Meier's live for us in Kerrville. Haley, thank you. All right, let's bring in Dennis Price, the founder of Heroes for Humanity, which is a group of veteran special operators who have been on the ground assisting with rescue and recovery efforts since this tragedy struck. Dennis, thank you so much for joining us. You're a faith-based organization, and like we said, many of your volunteers are veterans, and they have capabilities that other people do not. So tell us what you are doing right now as we enter day 6.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having us on. I think Haley covered it very well, that there's a lot of do-gooders out there, and a lot of people are trying to come together. We were there at Heroes for Humanity since pretty much day 1, and we went to the ground, hit the ground running, and started getting to work. Immediately, all these multi-agencies started using us due to our backgrounds and as veterans and special operations veterans. Most of these dives that are happening are guys, because we're combat divers, either in Force Recon, MARSOC, or any of the other special operations. We're able to go out and dive and help these people. A lot of our training is for scout snipers. We're looking for anything that breaks the baseline and anomalies, shine, outline, contrast, and background. We're able to, because some of us are still in or retired from the military, we're able to get in the military and civilian helicopters, do search and rescue from there. So we're just trying to, sow seeds of hope in other families and provide closure to them while doing anything we can to serve the people, just like we did in uniform, and as we're doing now.
The level of debris in these dives is unbelievable. I can't imagine this is a normal dive operation, if there is such a thing. What are some of the challenges that you're facing right now?
So right now, like you said, it's a lot of diving, and one of the challenges we're having right now is we do need more cadaver dogs and deconfliction with cadaver dogs. And then, as you see in the videos and all these pictures, there's a lot of debris and chunks of houses and RVs all piled on top of each other, about 20 feet high. And under that debris is about 5 feet of muck. And in that 5 feet, there's people in there and everything. So we need more extraction equipment, excavators, and all that other stuff. And it's just going to take a lot of time, a lot of manpower, and that's why cadaver dogs are just a hidden gem in this.
Yeah, and that's the tragic reality of it all, is that you need those dogs. And yesterday, Dennis, the number of people who were reported missing, just dramatically went up to 161 in Kerr County alone. Did that revelation surprise you? I guess it could go to show that it really was impossible, and it still remains very difficult to determine the number of people really impacted by this when you're talking about a rural area where there are also campers involved.
No, to see that number of 160 plus, that was heartbreaking. I saw that news yesterday when they released that, and it was mind-blowing to me. And just as Haley covered it earlier, it's such a tragedy, because those people went out to celebrate on the 4th of July and they woke up to mourn. That's what made the influx on that. So to see it, there's still 161 people plus missing. It just means that we need to continue to combine, unite, and everyone should be on the ground. And this should be the focal point of America until those 160 become zero. And I think everyone's doing a really good job. I think the state and the federal and all these multi-agencies who are using us at Heroes for Many and other volunteers, man, it's just such a massive blessing. And everyone just needs to keep uniting in this effort until that number becomes in the head and into the single digits and then to zero.
Uniting and praying. As we mentioned, you're a faith-based organization, and I'm sure many who are mourning the loss of so many are going to be turning to that Bible verse that those who believe in me live even though they die. Dennis, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for what you're doing. We appreciate your efforts.